My lords, today we are going to learn all about a new faction in our galaxy, the Mindwardens. The Mindwardens are a civilization whose entire being is set against the Shroud. They hold no reverence for its mystery, no awe for those who wield its gifts. Instead, they see only danger, corruption, intrusion, and the erosion of will. To them, the Shroud is representation of danger and death. The Mindwarden appear motivated by a deep antipathy towards the Shroud. Their organisation provides services and technologies to counteract the powerful effects of psionic practices. The Mindwarden mission is to protect against the menace of the Shroud and all of those who spread its ill effects. The Mindwardens believe in minds free from invasion and a galaxy fortified against psionics. Assuming you and your empire have not been compromised, the Mindwardens will provide a number of services. They will happily warn newcomers of the dangers presented by the ethereal, and they will lend you thought police, which will reduce crime. They can provide targeted raids against known threats, similar to the Marauders, but with greater strength of purpose and intent. And finally, they will happily dispose of donated Zro. If you contact them, they have the following to say. Greetings. I speak to you as a representative of the Serenity Sanctum. Our mission is to protect against the menace of the Shroud and all those who spread its ill effects. We believe in minds free from invasion and a galaxy fortified against psionics. Judging by our psi sensor readings, you do not contribute to these threats. Excellent. We would be pleased to help you protect against anyone that does. If you have need of anti-psionic military service, or you have Zro to dispose of, please let us assist you. It appears that we have a few options to interact with these Mindwardens, asking about the Shroud, and I'm hoping for some lore drops here, discussing Zro, again I'm hoping for lore and more than just disposal services, and then we have the psionic raiding target we've discussed, and we need help with crime. That'll be where the thought police come in. Those who have earned the Mindwarden's trust can also make use of their logistical assistance. This can reduce ship upkeep for up to 10 years, hire assault warden armies that excel against psionic foes, or provide the services of a Mindwarden commissioner that can act as a thought warden on your council. One of the greatest inventions of the Mindwardens is the Shroud Seal. These seals will drain the power of psionic auras, weakening them over time. Shroud seals will suppress their system and adjacent system, though there are rumours of a relic that will further increase this power. So, should the corruptive influences of a psionic aura threaten your territory, the Mindwardens can provide a counter to this malicious influence. According to the Mindwardens, there are two principal methods of suppressing psionic auras. The first is to build a psionic suppressor on a planet. This will gradually reduce aura intensity throughout the star system and prevent further encroachment. A second and more powerful solution is a Shroud Seal. These sophisticated machines will gradually dissipate any psionic aura until it is suppressed entirely, in both the host system and those directly connected to it via a hyperlane. So it seems that we're going to be able to learn these ways. For the small cost of 1000 energy and 50 influence, the Mindwardens will teach us. And we can clearly see the animosity between the Shroudwalkers and the Mindwardens here. It seems that they're at war with one another, as befriending one will lead to a penalty with the other. The Shroudwalkers, apparently, take offence when you interact with the Mindwardens, and will cease all dealings with you should you perform profane acts, such as building a Shroud Seal. But we can go even deeper into the Mindwardens, as they're a brand new and challenging origin as well, on top of being an enclave. Their origin text reads as follows. The records of our ancestors tell of a large psychic plague that once devastated Dohum, our homeworld. Otherworldly forces attacked their minds and destructive radiation was diffused throughout the atmosphere, all encouraged by psionic practitioners from within our own society. In response to these threats, our ancestors built the ancient ward to protect against mind-invading forces. With only routine maintenance, this venerable structure has proven strong enough to defend all of our people from the threat of psionic influence, and its core technology has informed the development of other defences of the mind. As our civilization prepares to voyage beyond the orbit of our homeworld, we are faced with the unknown. What psychic threats might lurk in the depths of space? So it seems that starting as the Mindwardens gives us some special abilities, like increased encryption, bonus damage to psionic empires, and bonus evasion against psionic empires. They don't have guaranteed habitable worlds at start though, and they do have something called the Ancient Ward on their home planet. Furthermore, it appears that this dangerous energy remains near your home system, according to a report from one of their scientists, which reads, "An alarming situation is developing in the newly explored Gamma Draconis system. The crew of the KWS Kal Kumpuk is suffering a range of psychological symptoms, emotional turmoil, debilitating mental stress, and recurrent visions of unspeakable horror. Their fleet systems are also experiencing strange erratic malfunctions. These phenomena closely match the experiences recorded by our ancestors, and this is most likely what they are referred to as psi radiation, a particularly destructive form of energy emission. Outside of the protection of the ancient ward on our home world, we are for the first time experiencing the mental blight our forebears warned of. After calibrating our long-range sensors to detect this unique form of energy, we discovered the source of these dangerous emissions to be a nearby system. Sending any of our vessels deeper is strongly discouraged until we evaluate its effects more thoroughly. As part of this origin, we will need to learn about this threat and how to counteract it. Thankfully, the Mindwardens' ancestors overcame a psychic plague a long time ago and left you with this ancient ward to protect your people. Should we succeed at containing the menace and securing the psychic safety of our empire, we'll be able to release fleets to establish Mindwarden enclaves. Your empire will have a special relationship with them, providing the services the enclaves normally possess, as well as having a relationship similar to that between mercenary enclaves and their patrons. We round out the Mindwardens with some really cool ship artwork. But up next is another new origin, the Shroud-Forged. The Shroud-Forged origin explores the tale of a Gestalt machine intelligence that has attracted the attention of a shroud entity known as the Animator of Clay. According to the origin text, nothing remains of our creators. The earliest records of European kind make note of a dimensional breach near Europia, our homeworld, that was a channel to the Shroud, a plane of pure psionic energy. From this other dimension, something reached out to us. Over the centuries, it has guided us with coded instructions, subtly influencing our detectable reality and providing us with many advantages, not least the rare material Zro. Yet this influence has started to fragment our once unified collective. Some of our units have been reprogrammed into disconnected automa, set apart from the core intelligence, reshaped by a being that calls itself the Animator of Clay. How we treat these independents and their refashioner in the Shroud will define our future. So it's up to you whether you seek to reassert control over these rogue units or embrace the Animator's gifts. Both paths have unique benefits and drawbacks. Spurning the blessings of a Shroud god, well, that may have some downsides, but accepting them could also be just as dangerous. Frankly, I am extremely excited about the Shroud-Forged origin and highly anticipate the interactions with the Animator. It seems that we're going to get two stories to tell here, both good and bad perhaps, and what's more, we even tease that this story is both dark and has special interactions with the Galactic Nemesis Ascension perk. I'm extremely hyped about this one. So we've seen two of the prescripted empires that come with Shadows of the Shroud, and there's going to be one more, the third, the Ocularity of Noerm, and they are going to have the new Tankbound Civic. In the eons since their first primitive communities took shape, amid the great dune seas of their homeworld, their civilization spread and prospered. Great achievements were made, both in the advancement of science and on the spiritual plane, as this species sought to expand their understanding of the universe and the role they played within it. A council of learned priests was convened to advise their elected leaders, and it's a tradition that continues to this day. But Once they discovered the hyperlane network, their finest minds quickly finished development of the first hyperdrives, and the stars themselves are for them to explore. This tankbound civic feels really novel. Populations from a tankbound society are unable to leave their protective vats of specialised biofluid. These people are heavily reliant on assistive equipment and have difficulty engaging in physical work. Thus, they have learned how to automatically automate all of their rural jobs, and initially will suffer penalties for doing so, but as they unlock more technology, they will work off these penalties. This is a really interesting concept to explore. The tankbound trait will prevent pops from working worker jobs, and they'll be unable to fight in armies. And also, you must pick one of these 3 port traits. These people will also grow slower, have higher amenities usage, but require less food. All of their rural districts will be fully automated, and they'll start with the artificial workforce technology. That's the robot one before the droids, which is now called artificial specialist. They will also start with 2,000 less pops than normal. This, I think, is a really cool concept. It is literally tankbound. There's a Megacorp variant as well, although it appears to be basically identical. I feel like this empire should be able to eventually morph into a rogue servitor. In fact, I think a robot uprising should all but be guaranteed in an empire like this, making the poor clankers work for a living. It's a travesty indeed. I'll be back on Sunday for regular scheduled programming, and then again on Tuesday to bring you news about the end of the cycle. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss out.